Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating shift. We're talking about going from the days of sitting cross-legged in front of PBS all the way to an era where your child's iPad might literally be legally required to forget their face. We're going to pull back the curtain and look at exactly how developers and mobile apps are legally required to ensure children's privacy today. It's a massive shift in the tech world, and honestly, the technical back end of how apps keep kids safe is incredibly interesting.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap. We're going to breeze through the kids' digital media landscape and managing screen time before diving deep into our main focus today, the 2026 COPPA privacy rules, defining children's personal info and the invisible code that apps use to ensure privacy.
All right, Section 1, Kids' Digital Media Landscape, the evolution of trusted children's media. To really understand today's complex digital ecosystem, we have to look back, right? Because it didn't just happen overnight. It was this deliberate evolution of trust. It started way back in August 1993, with PBS launching the PTV network block for early educational programming. By 1999, that morphed into PBS Kids. But the real game changer happened in 2017, when PBS Kids adapted to the internet age and revived as a 24/7 digital streaming service.
And that streaming revolution brings us to today. The landscape is incredibly fragmented now. Kids are flocking to YouTube for super targeted niche content. You've got toddlers locked into the repetitive 3D nursery rhymes of CoComelon. Then you have SciShow kids breaking down primary school science, Art for Kids Hub doing step-by-step drawing, Blippi doing real-world adventures, and Khan Academy kids offering strict curriculum-aligned learning. It's just this endless, almost overwhelming buffet of on-demand content.
Moving on to Section 2, Managing the Screen Time, Balancing Digital Habits with Analog Play.
With all that high-quality content literally at their fingertips, you gotta wonder, how much time are kids actually spending in front of screens? Well, the World Health Organization is very clear here. They advise a maximum of just 1 hour of daily screen time for children aged 2 to 5. And for kids under 2, 0 hours. The only exception they make is for interactive video calls with family.
The core philosophy here is really fascinating. The research emphasizes that screens themselves aren't inherently evil. The issue is displacement. High screen time in children under 5 is consistently linked to delayed language development and poorer sleep. Why? Because sitting passively in front of a tablet actively displaces the things a child actually needs for their brain to develop, like physical play, social interaction, and creative exploration. So, to protect that crucial development, parents just need to swap out tablets for 15-minute analog alternatives. Baking and cooking together is incredibly effective because it engages all the senses and gives a tangible result. Board games like Uno train concentration. Even just 20 minutes of outdoor exploration or a quick dance game channels that pent-up energy, giving the kid a real sense of mastery completely away from the device.
Section 3, the 2026 COPPA privacy rules, a strict new era of compliance.
But let's face it, kids are definitely going to use screens. So when they inevitably do, what is happening to their data behind the scenes? A lot of developers think, well, I didn't design my app for preschoolers, so the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act doesn't apply to me. Yeah, that's no longer true. Under the new rules, if your app serves a mixed audience, or even if competing apps have child users, the FTC might classify you as child-directed. If App Store reviews even mention kids using your app, you're suddenly on the hook for federal privacy compliance.
And the crucial point here is the timeline. April 22nd, 2026. This is the first major update to COPPA since 2013. Just think about that for a second. In 2013, we didn't have TikTok, AR face filters, or voice assistants in every pocket. The internet drastically changed, and now the rules have caught up. This isn't just a proposal. It is a hard, unforgiving deadline for developers to completely overhaul how mobile apps ensure privacy.
The stakes are absolutely massive. If you think the FTC is bluffing, just look back to December 2025. Disney got hit with a staggering $10 million settlement for inadequate consent mechanisms. The FTC is aggressively targeting apps where children's data is collected without proper, verified parental consent. Section 4. Defining children's personal information. What counts as data today?
To avoid these massive fines, developers have to understand exactly what the government now considers personal information. The FTC has basically blown the doors off this definition to explicitly include biometric data. We're talking fingerprints, retina patterns, voice prints, and facial templates. This is a total game changer. It means if your app uses fun AR face filters, voice commands, or even fingerprint login, and kids under 13 might use it. You're collecting heavily regulated data. You legally cannot collect this without verified parental consent beforehand.
On top of that, the way apps actually gather that consent has changed entirely. The old days of mindlessly checking a single I agree box that covers everything from playing a game to selling your data, completely dead. Under the 2026 rules, parents must have separate, distinct opt-in options. They need to be able to consent to the core app service while distinctly saying no thanks to targeted advertising and third-party data sharing. It's a massive structural change for mobile interfaces.
Which brings us to Section 5. How apps ensure privacy. The technical backend of compliance.
So, knowing all these strict rules, how do apps physically ensure privacy on the back end? It really comes down to SDK, or Software Development Kit liability. Traditional analytics tools that developers plug in, like Firebase or Mixpanel, automatically collect device IDs and log IP addresses by default. Under the new rules, those are personal information. So just installing a standard analytics tracker instantly creates a COPPA violation if a child opens the app. But privacy-first tools like Respectlytics deliberately discard that data immediately. So developers basically have two paths to ensure privacy. Path 1 is the hard road. Audit every single data point, build complex separate opt-in flows, and meticulously document when you delete data. Path 2 is the elegant technical solution, data minimization. You just swap your back-end tools for privacy-first SDKs that collect zero personal info in the first place. Here's the real aha moment. If you don't collect it, you don't have to protect it, and you don't need consent for it.
But for developers taking that first path, here's your immediate checklist. First, audit every SDK in your code for IDs, IPs, or biometrics. Second, completely separate your consent UI so parents can opt out of ads while letting kids play. And third, implement an automated data retention policy. You can't hold on to a kid's data forever anymore. You absolutely must have strict deletion timelines written directly into your code.
And you've got to act fast because compliance doesn't stop in April. There's a whole wave of legislation right behind it. We're looking at COPPA 2.0, which extends these protections to teens under 17. You've got the App Store Accountability Act and harsh state laws like in Texas, which throws down a brutal $10,000 fine per violation starting in 2026. The privacy net is getting much, much wider.
Ultimately, what you should take away from this explainer is that privacy by design isn't just some legal chore to check off before an April deadline. It's a fundamental shift in software engineering. As laws expand to cover more ages and more data types, developers have to ask themselves, is your digital foundation truly built to protect our most vulnerable users? Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and keep an eye on how these invisible technical systems continue to shape the media we use every single day.